It's okay. It's fine. Guys.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? So thank you all for coming out today. If all the speakers could join me on the stage today. I don't know. Is this a good sound? Can everybody hear me? No, not at all? I mean, absolutely. Let me see. Is that better? That would have been a lot ugly, right? Is that better? I'm gonna take the mask off as well. Yeah, so we're just holding on waiting for the mayor. He's on his way. He should be pulling up now. In the meantime, I just want to thank everybody again for coming out. This is an exciting announcement today, and I think the journey is extremely overwhelming with like immense pride and joy to see friends, family, my mother who just recently celebrated a birthday, who's here. Hey, Mom. My artistic mother, my consciousness mother there. My left brain is here. Jess is, so a lot of amazing folks. I see Nate from Filmality TV, one of our local partners that's gonna be putting our content on their website. So again, it's overwhelming with joy to have all of our partners. I see American Water representation, which is a major aspect of this project, and one of the most important factors here, because I think we wouldn't be gathering without this organization, the Trust for Public Land. Danielle, she is just phenomenal. She's been phenomenal in the onboarding. She's been from the first, I think when we met, like four years ago? It was a while ago at a park installment here, and I was like, what's going on with this? And she's like, well, this is what we're doing. And we've had several conversations, and to think that we would be standing here today is just a unique conversation. So I'm gonna just try to hold for another second before I go into the announcement, but I think if the mayor gets here, this is his seat, so we'll just kind of go. So today we're gathering for an awesome new mandate. This mandate is not just the arts, it's not just our environment, but today's mandate is equity, right? We all know that word. We've been hearing that word a lot across the nation in the Black and brown community. And so for us, it is equity in art, it's equity in our environment, it's equity in our air, it's equity in our water, and most importantly, our goal is to end environmental racism, right? People often assume that growing up in Camden, you're automatically exposed to this, ugly truth of racism, right? But in reality, where I grew up in Fairview, it was a predominantly white section of the city at one point. But when my mom, moved us into the neighborhood in the early 2000s, it wasn't a predominantly white neighborhood. It was a neighborhood filled with Hispanics, Blacks, and Caucasians, and we all got along. So at least that's what I remember through my youth race-blinded memory, right? And so we lived just steps away from the Walt Whitman Bridge. My mom has attested to this, and I'm sure she could tell the story better than I can. I can recall her waking me up in the middle of the night sometimes, or just it could have been 3 p.m, just because it was raining outside. And we would run to our basement, and still to this day, Mom, do you still experience the flooding to this day? So still to this day, she probably does this, and I don't live with her, but there's still the conversation of stormwater and flooding in our homes. Like, this isn't something that happens within just the streets in Camden. It actually affects the residents in their homes. So looking back, I realized I didn't know about racism until I went on a trip, systematic racism anyway. When I went on my first trip to Dallas, Texas, I was in high school, and I graduated from an arts high school, so I majored in dance. And what happened was the opportunity to go to Texas allowed me to see things that were just still, and this was in 2014 when we went, that there was, oh my God, it was so shocking. There was a white man standing there getting his shoes shined. And to me, it was a rude awakening that this was happening in the world. And I realized America had a system that was cast on racism, and our people were at the bottom of the totem pole. So with maturity and experience, that awakening turned into a political consciousness. And that dance group back in high school turned into a very, very, very effective artistic career. So I am pleased to announce today that we are announcing in partnership after a very, very, very tough review process, the Trust for Public Land has selected Superior Arts Institute to serve as the lead artistic partner here for a project to unmask the naked truth of environmental racism. This project will allow us to have participatory theater workshops throughout the city that will focus on the impacts of environmental racism with community vision and community thoughts and community stories at the forefront. And if any of you saw our flyer, it says in very, very bold letters, "Are you outraged?" Because we want to have the uncomfortable conversation that's gonna really tell the story of our people. And we wanna be able to do that with solutions. So when I think of organizations like ours and I think of the arts in a whole, I think of progressive politics. When I look back at the Emmy Awards last year, they made very, very bold statements. The artists and the actors showed up with Black Lives Matter t-shirts and Breonna Taylor tattooed across their shirts. And that is what this project is about. This is about where the arts meet civic engagement. As we all know, Hollywood is one of our major contributing factors to the arts, but the lifeblood of any artistic community is whom? The local performing arts organizations. So if you dig deep there, you'll see for many, many decades, the equivalent of Black men shining white shoes. But this project unmasks that we can all work together, no matter the color tone, no matter the skin barrier. We are having the conversation across the aisle. Our counterparts, one of my right hands, are all of diverse backgrounds. My artistic team, who through this grant we were able to hire, just looking here, we have Black and brown faces, but we also have many faces. And so when you think about your artistic organization or your favorite, when you look across the aisle at New Jersey, or when you look at Philadelphia, or when you look at New York, I want you all to ask yourself a few questions. How many board members are people of color? How many senior administrators are people of color? How many works in their seasons are presented with people of color and or created by people of color? And when you think of your artistic principles in these companies, how many of them are led by people of color? You know why this matters? Because then when we talk to data, which has been data and science has been a word that we all heard over the last year and a half, right? Follow the science with COVID. You know why it matters? It matters because according to the United States Bureau of Economic Analysts, the arts industry is an $878 billion industry, right? That contributes to $5.1 million jobs here in the city. 5.1 million jobs, I'm sorry to correct that. This opportunity alone has already brought on a creative team. I'm so happy to have Andy as my media director, Tiara as my technical director, and the girl in brown who is my right hand, and she served as such, I don't even know what to call her on this project. To say she's the creative director is an understatement. She is all around everything. She's actually over there in a corner. Her phones are ringing, things are going off. I can see the lights. Brianna is a key role within our team. Again, that is what we're doing here. So we anticipate that this will serve as a mechanism to amplify Black stories, not only in the artist community, but around the environmental community as well. So I want to talk about passing the mic over now to a great friend. I don't have the run of show, but I'm just gonna improv this thing because I know Danielle was the follow-up. So I'm gonna pass the mic over now to Danielle, who's gonna give a lot on how the project came about and how we got to this point. So thank you all again for coming out and meeting with us today.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you, Samir, and thank you everyone for coming out today. You know, it's actually such a pleasure to be out here having these conversations with you because, as Samir said, this is the space, this is the place where environmental justice needs to happen, where environmental traumas continue to happen. And so by lifting up the work and the creative process of Superior Arts and the community to make the difference, to make data, as Samir said, actually drive the change through the voices, that's an incredible opportunity, and that's really the galvanizing reason why we're here. So I'll just back up a little bit, and for some of you who don't know, I am with the Trust for Public Land, and the Trust for Public Land is a national nonprofit. We are one of the leading environmental nonprofits in the country, but we work very deeply in cities across the country to create parks and protect land for people, with people at the center of the reason why we do this work. We've been working here in Camden for the past 5 years, and actually you can see evidence of that work across the street at the Mastery Molina School, down the road, around the corner really, at the Coopers Point Family School, and then further around the corner at the Dominic Andahar Park. These projects all will be creating spaces through nature-based solutions to help drive equity, to drive healthy communities, and to really make sure that spaces for people are thriving, beautiful, and community-led. One thing that we've been doing to think about how can we help create sustainable change in Camden is we've been putting together a lot of mapping tools, and we have this mapping tool which is available for anybody to take a look at called Green and Healthy Camden. And it's very sophisticated. It's looking at layers across, timelines, figuring out where there's vulnerability for flooding, where there's vulnerability for riverine rising, which will actually submerge entire neighborhoods in Camden in about 30 years. We already know that Camden is struggling with combined sewer overflows and flooding, and it's only going to get worse as climate change increases. We also know that there's extreme heat hitting the summer here in Camden, hurting residents, and heat is one of the biggest drivers of climate-related death. This is only going to amplify. So we're sitting here on this pile of data, knowing that the issues that we see are going to get worse, but not having a real forum for creating that voice, creating the place for it to matter to people. And so when the National Endowments for the Arts had an opportunity for creative placemaking, we thought this could be a perfect place to secure some funding to use the arts to really drive the messages, to bring the community into the conversation. And so the National Endowments for the Arts is a partner in this, and we were so thrilled to create an opportunity to put out a call for artists. And when Superior Arts applied, and with their amazing, talented team, we were just overjoyed by the fact that this wonderful project now has a real Camden resident, many of them leading the voice, leading the change, leading the amplification of why environmental justice matters. And as Samir said, environmental racism. Some of the planning mistakes that were made ages ago were biased, and that's wrong. And so we want people to know that they are a victim of bad decisions made upon them, that they are not their fault, but they can be part of the solution. And parks and green spaces can be part of the solution. So this is going to be, as Samir said, a lot of tough conversations, but we are here to be a backbone, a supporter, ones with the science, ones with the data, ones with the ability to help create parks and to help drive change with partners. But that arts at the center is going to make this really meaningful, really deep. It's going to make it matter, and it's going to make it matter to the people. So we are really excited to be here, excited you to join us, and we really want to have more people participate in these conversations because the change is coming. Parks, arts, and science working together to make that change is going to be the reality. So thank you very much. I'm honored to introduce the councilwoman to come over and speak up on behalf of the city. Thank you.
Thank you all for having me. It is a pleasure to be here today, and I want to thank Superior Arts for their work. And I also want to thank the Trust for Public Land for their work in this. Obviously, we have been engaged in the community for a very long time about environmental injustice. And since I've been on council for the last year, I've had the pleasure of learning so much about this space and learning what we need to change and what we need to address within the city to make our environment safer for the residents who live in the city. And we are definitely committed to that change. And I'm very happy that someone like Samir is taking this on because we definitely need more community voices at the table as we start to have these discussions and envision what the future can look like, as we start to address things like stormwater. How do we manage it for the future? What do we do for the young people who are here, who've been impacted or have floods in their basements, or can't get across the street when it rains, or if you get stuck in your car? For our seniors who have a hard time addressing these issues, what do we do as a city as we start to think about the improvements that need to be made? So from my seat, we've already taken action on some legislation that came down through the state to support that in the city, to make sure that anybody that's coming to our city, who wants to develop in our city, is aware of the laws that we have on the books, and so that we can study the impact that they will have on our environment as they look to invest in our city. And we are looking at cleaner energy. How do we invest in that in the long term to make sure that Camden is going to thrive, but as we do it, that we're not doing it at the expense of the residents who live here. And we did win a grant recently also at the city level to study stormwater, and we're going to really be studying it and figuring out what we can do to make sure that we address it for all. And I'm excited to have my new mayor, who was my council person, who really supported this work that I did at the city level. And we worked together a lot. We put our brains and our heads together to really figure out what we could do, and really figuring out different ways to work and address the residents in a way that they wanted to. So I think that this project, thank you for funding it, is meaningful, because sometimes as politicians, we may not be the best to address the community because they want answers from us. They don't necessarily want us to come out and convene these conversations. There may be some parts of the conversation that they want to get a little raw. And I believe that bringing art to it makes it better for all, right? Because sometimes through the arts, people can express themselves in ways that they can't express themselves when they're talking about the flooding in their basement, right? So I just think that this gives us another tool and another way to kind of figure out ways to address this that'll be meaningful, for the people that we have to represent. And I know he's going to be up next, is really give a shout out to Commissioner Nash for his dedication to Camden City and the work and the partnership that we've had and the support that he's given to the city to make sure that we are addressing anybody who is starting to violate our environment in the city of Camden. And he's been doing it for a very long time and has mentored me in this space and made sure that I have the support behind me to do what I need to do for the city. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our great mayor, Vic Karstafen.
Yeah, thank you. I want to first thank Samir Nichols and Superior Arts Institute for being a great partner within our city and bringing awareness to some of our social injustices and our environmental issues. I think it's amazing to find ways creatively to bring light to issues within our great city. I want to acknowledge our County Commissioner, Jeff Nash. Also want to acknowledge my council mate, Councilwoman Shaniqua Boucher in Ward 1. I talk about partnerships in our communities, partnerships coming together that help lift our community up. And this partnership that Superior Arts Institute has with our city and the National Endowment for the Arts, it's a way, and I say to creatively, and as I echo what our councilwoman says, to creatively and innovatively just find ways to allow our community to see issues as far as the environmental issues and injustices we have. What better way than through the arts? So I'm excited. I'm excited to support. I'm excited to get behind the endeavors that Samir and Superior Arts Institute has within our community. I'm looking forward to it. As an individual who grew up in the arts with his father, I saw music as a way to touch people's hearts. Now I see a way that arts will touch people's hearts to spread light on issues that we have in our city. So thank you for allowing me to be here today. I look forward to working with this wonderful organizations in our future. And again, thank you.
So I think the real introduction comes into a man who I have the privilege of introducing, a friend, a mentor, been a lot of ears in the recent days, and most importantly, that's one of the closest mentors I've had in a long time, and I mean long cause, My mom loved this guy. He's looked at as a rock star. And so without further ado, our commissioner, he oversees and liaisons to the Parks Department, and Mr. Nash. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir, and good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank you all for attending Samir's mother's birthday party. There's a box there you can leave your gifts. I am invigorated, really, because of what I'm seeing. I've been a commissioner for many, many years, and I've seen it all in this city. And I am invigorated by the leadership that we have in our new mayor. Mayor, congratulations on, we are so thrilled that you are taking the leadership of this community, and also to a woman that I have come to know recently who is truly passionate about the environmental issues in our community. That's Shaniqua Boucher. Shaniqua? It's a pleasure. And of course, my dear friend Samir, who is always, his noodle is always turning and coming up with great ideas. So Samir, congratulations on this. And to the Trust for Public Land, who have been our partners in Camden County on so many projects, it is an honor. I'm thrilled to be here today because we are talking about beginning to unwind generations of environmental injustice in this city. And people in this community, and certainly outside this community, don't understand how severe the environmental injustice has been placed on the land and the residents of this city. Right behind me at the Harrison Avenue landfill, now turned into the Kramer Hill Waterfront Park, or the Knox Gelatin plant, or the prison that they put on the most valuable property in Camden County, or the flooding that we see because they never built the infrastructure to handle the tidal flooding on the Camden waterfront, or the CCMUA, where all the sewage in Camden County comes through one pipe into Camden City before the effluent comes back to the Delaware, or the incinerator that they decided to put in Camden City so that all of Camden County's trash can come to one place, and that's Camden City, burn it, and have the particles of air come down on Waterfront South. That is environmental injustice. And people in this community don't fully understand the impact. Camden County, Camden City in particular, has the worst air quality, not in the state of New Jersey, but in the United States of America. And do you know why? Because the air quality here, because of traffic, incineration, ports, trucks coming through Camden City, only matched by the Chester incinerator, which blows into this area, and the traffic from 95, all coming to Camden City. That is environmental injustice. So unless this generation or this little child has the opportunity to unwind that environmental injustice, things will continue forever. But we do have new leadership, and we do have this program, and we do have the Trust for Public Land and Superior Arts to come together and to communicate this message, not by sending a memo or an email, it's by performing arts, using the creative talents of this community to share the message of the injustice that we have experienced in this city. So Samir, congratulations on this amazing accomplishment, this grant, this performing arts that you will enlighten this community. And to the Trust for Public Land, I see Owen's out here. Daniel, thank you for giving the city a chance to let people know how we can unwind years of injustice. Thank you.
So I also have the privilege of introducing another great leg of the city. So a few years ago, the Camden City Arts, Culture, and Heritage was formed under the last administration, and I'm looking forward to working with this administration as a commissioner. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to working with the commission underneath of its leadership, Ms. Connie Jackson. She serves as the chairperson to the Camden City Arts, Culture, and Heritage Commission, and here she is.
Thank you, Samir. Again, congratulations to Superior Arts, a phenomenal arts organization and congratulations to the Land Trust as well, who's here working together. I was really ecstatic after Samir had mentioned it to me. I was ecstatic, and the fact that when I came here, because this is where I was born and raised, right here in North Camden. So North Camden is my home. And when I look around, I think about Vine Street, I think about Litwin's and all these different places as a kid that I would go to, and Pine Point, where I went to school at, and Powell School. And so North Camden, just being here, is significant. More importantly, now I'm still here in Camden. I'm on Market Street, and when we talked about the stormwater and things like that, and I look out and I would come outside when it would rain really hard, and you'd see how it would flood down the street. I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic to know and to learn that there are individuals from the county, and thank you, Commissioner, who care. There are individuals here in the state Land Trust who care, and more importantly, there are individuals from Camden who care, Samir. And so with the Arts Commission, we're going to be coming alongside of Samir, he's a commissioner as well, and supporting him and the Land Trust in any way that we can. We'll be meeting all across the city and talking with the arts groups and things like that in the various parts of the city to find out different things that are happening throughout our community and how they're being impacted as well. So I'd just like to say again, congratulations. Just so happy that Camden is being recognized and something is being done about the injustices that has been here for many, many, many years. And now today, there is a landmark that's being made and being set. And there's change that's taking place, and it's a good thing. Thank you, Mayor, also for helping, coming here, and being able to make a difference. Together, we can make a difference. Together, there can be a change. Thank you.
So Connie just hit a key point that I actually forgot earlier, is that the mayor's office is a direct partnership with this grant. It's the Our Town grant through a national funding, the National Endowment of the Arts. Based on this partnership, there's an artistic provider, the City of Camden's government, and then the lead applicant, which was the Trust for Public Land. So again, this is an inclusive effort of all of the key individuals, not just the arts agency, not just the Trust for Public Land, but the City of Camden's government has also been an instrumental partner in this process. I want to bring up a next person who, total complete, in my opinion, rock star. She's not just an environmental. I actually met her a few years ago, before, when she was planting trees throughout the city of Camden. I could recall when I was walking down, was it stage 6 and something. I was leaving from a meeting with the Human Services, and I was like, I'm just gonna walk through North Camden, and there's this team planting trees and decorating houses. And I walk over to them, and I just had a real like, hey, what are you guys doing kind of conversation. And Jess was like, well, we're making this look better, of course. And I was like, how can I help? And ever since then, we've been working together as key instrumental partners. She is one of the reasons why Superior Arts even applied, if you will, and responded to the RFP. I called her and I said, Jess, I want to do this. And she's like, let's do it. And here we are today. So I want to bring on our long-term partner. They're a funder in so many different projects. They are a emotional support. Definitely I see the Block Supporter Initiative here. If you see them, they are always out cleaning up the neighborhood. And that's all under direction of Camden Lutheran Housing's new director, Jessica Fernancini.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here. I'm the executive director of CLHI North Camden. We are a community development corporation serving this neighborhood since 1986. And I'm joined by my team that I can only partially see past this speaker. Jacqueline Santiago is our project coordinator. She lives in this neighborhood, grew up in this neighborhood. And I'm so proud that what we do is we hire local people to make a difference where they live. So I first want to say I've got a couple artists, kind of unofficial artists, that can't wait to get involved with this project, who are doing murals, who are decorating vacant houses, who are using community gardens as a form of, healing and expression, and while also growing food. This team's just incredible, and so I just want to shout you guys out and thank you for being a part of this. Thank you. So we're here as a partner and also as a funder. So part of what we do with our organization as a CDC in the neighborhood is we implement the North Camden Neighborhood Plan. And that plan was first formed in 1993. Had a lot to do with the prison and the idea of a new prison coming to this neighborhood. And what residents said was, we want a voice in what happens where we live. Fast forward to 2008, that plan was updated. It was a 10-year plan, and we've used it. CLHI has used that for about 10 years to apply to a program with the state Department of Community Affairs called NRTC, or Neighborhood Revitalization Tax Credit Program. And I want to shout out American Water as an example of a corporation in this city that is participating in that program and funneling money to nonprofits like ours to do good work. So we are proud to be funding Superior Arts to continue this process after TPL's project is over, because we know that this project has been inspiring, amazing. It's filling a void in this community, not only from a community engagement standpoint, but also when it comes to the arts. Like when we all walked in here today, there's an amazing band who, by the way, we should shout out, even though only two of them are over there right now. Activating this space. Like, we're recovering from a year and a half of not having programming in parks. Like, we had come such a long way as a city, and here working in North Camden for almost 15 years now as a community. And that a lot of that has gone backwards because of the pandemic. And so this project kicking off, us being able to fund Superior Arts to continue beyond the summer, into the fall, into the winter, activating public spaces with art in North Camden, we're really honored to do. I want to shout out Tiara, Andy, Brianna, Samir. They're amazing. Seriously, you will all be very impressed as you get involved with this project, because what's coming down the pipe are a couple of participatory workshops where they, as artists, are going to be pulling out the community story and using that to create a production, a play of some kind of performance art at the end of this that really culminates this environmental racism, this idea of environmental justice, and how we continue to build on all the good work that's happened here in the city. So we are pleased to be a partner. If you're here today and we don't know each other yet, if you have the time, please stop by, talk with Jackie or myself or members of my team. Partnerships are how we get things done. Thank you so much to the mayor, commissioner, councilwoman for being here as well. Have a good one.
So, like Jess said, we're going to culminate this thing with a series of things. We're going to have some short videos. That's why we need filmality. I see the creator of Chase Street here, just to show you a partner, to shout out to our artistic partners. The band is ran through a local group called Camden Repertory Theater under the direction of the music executive Jamal P. Dickerson. Jamal is a music teacher and he organized this band. We called them up and said, hey, we really want to activate the park. We know we got some creative events coming up. And from there, he got us a band here. So a part of this partnership is not just with Superior Arts being at the helm, but Camden artists and arts organizations serving. This final speaker I'm going to bring up, she is phenomenal. She is my political, I call Jess the right brain, Tiara's a center brain. My mom says I don't have a brain. Andy's a middle, what are you, Andy left center, and Brianna is right center. So Sheila's probably like the whole entire thing. Miss Sheila Green, this is her third term as president. She's served as president for almost 3 terms now. I look forward to her staying on the board and continuing to help me accountable. It's not until you got an email at 2 o'clock in the morning requesting financial records for the last 5 years that you're like, whoa, this is a real life thing. And so without further ado, my board president, my friend, my mentor, as they say in Africa, Queen Mother, Sheila Green.
Thank you so much, Samir. This is truly an honor. I have things that I wrote down. I probably won't say half of them. But first of all, I'd like to just, thank all of those that have shown today their interest in watching the change that can come about through the eyes of, started off as a child at 14 years old, who decided that children should have a place and a space to go to be able to express themselves. Samir actually, at 14 years old, saw that there was a need to bring art in such a way to Camden. I would like to thank our newly appointed, to be hopefully elected, mayor that is now my friend, and the other dignitaries that are here, Mr. Nash, who I've known for decades, to Council Shaniqua Boucher, and to the Commissioner for the Arts for Camden, Connie Jackson. Jess Francini was the tree lady before, and now she's North Camden. So we now have to call her the North Camden lady, because she is always here to make sure that something great is getting ready to come to North Camden. As Connie said, I also grew up here. I was on, Bailey Street, 400 block. I grew up there. I went to school at Pine Point. I went to Cooper's Point. I went to Reed School before they tore it down. So I understand that there's a whole process that we have to go through in order to get to where we are. When young minds see visions that we cannot see and bring them to fruition, this is the thing that changes the lives of very many. Someone said a long time ago, does the life of one outweigh the life of many, or does the life of many outweigh the life of one? And I feel as though that the life of one has outweighed the life of many, because he has actually brought forth a process that has changed what we're about to see. Environmentally, let me say this again, let me say this one more time. Racism has brought to our understanding the change that's not just the color of skin. Racism has now affected everything that we know. It has infected us as people. It has infected us as where we live. It has infected us as to what we breathe, how we eat, and everything else that is wrong. Racism starts with each individual. And every time that we turn around and look at what it is that we've done or what we're doing, we need to ask ourselves, what do we need to do to change that? Well, that's what came through the eyes of Samir. Samir's eyes looked around and said, you know what, we have to do better. So we at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning are battling with different kinds of conversations and, laughing and crying and going through all of the changes that we go through. And I've stayed on this board because of the fact that what his vision is what I want to see. I need to know that at the end of the day, when my legacy is over, that something was left here that was going to be unique and something that was going to be beneficial for all to be able to come home to. Camden City is not a dump. Camden City has never been a dump, and we're not going to allow anyone else to do that to it anymore. The changes that Superior Arts, aka SAY, is bringing to, that's bringing to Camden is one of the most important things. All cities around the nation are doing some of the same things. Chicago is trying, Detroit is trying, and everybody's trying, but Camden will. We have good leadership. We have people that are inclusive. We have people that are going to turn the tables and turn the pages in every quadrant of this city to give us the city that we used to have. The city that was beautiful, the city that was clean, the city that was environmentally safe in every aspect of it. So I thank the National Endowment of the Arts and the Trust for Public Land for having the idea of being able to see the same vision that Samir has seen, and to be able to bring to us the support that is necessary in order for us to be able to carry out this vision, to make it better for all of the children, the babies, so that they can have somewhere clean. This park was a mess. Samir called DPW. The DPW, Department of Public Works, came and they cleaned, and people cleaned. We want to thank the CCPD for always having our back, always being there. Because when we say racism, blacks against blues or blues against blacks, it's not in our city. We do not have that problem. And whatever problems we do have, we are constructing how to get rid of those as we move forward. So without keeping anyone here any longer, it's been a long day and it's been a great day. I applaud Samir, the whole new team that I'm about to learn about. I am so proud of them. The band that came performed like artists from 1950 because they seem like they're that old, and everyone else, American Water, Camden, Lutheran Housing, everyone else that's here, Chris Collins, everyone else that's here, everyone that came out today. Know that this is something that it's a team effort. We cannot do this by ourselves. We will always need your help. We will always need your assistance. We will always need your guidance. And we want to make sure that everybody's inclusive in what we're doing and how we're doing it, so that not only North Camden will have it, but Parkside and East Camden and Kramer Hill and all of Camden will have the same opportunities, so that we can look at Camden one more time and say, remember when Camden was? And now look at what it is. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Thank you. So again, I think if Brianna, Andy, Tier, you'll always see these two in all black. It's like a technical thing, and Brianna's always going to be bright. So Brianna, if you could just make sure everyone have a save the date. We are going to be releasing more information. We have flyers being circulated today with our upcoming events. First one is an open mic night around environmental issues, air quality, flooding, and various other stormwater topics. Brianna has palm. I said a Palm Pilot earlier, and everybody went crazy. Like I think I bought them back. I'm like, where does the flyers that you can held in the palm of your hand? So there are save the dates. We're gonna have 2 table reads of the production. We're utilizing a show called Blackology 101 as a driving message. It follows 4 high school students in their vision. One of the main characters, April, grows up and wants to become an environmentalist. So that's how you will be introducing these topics through our production, and we're excited to have that. So again, thank you all for coming out today. A major shout out to our band. They always show up. They're actually about to come back on, and at this time, I'm gonna let us leave off this podium and kind of answer any questions off the record, yes? Thank you.
Congratulations. Can't wait.